So the first personalization option I would like to show is choosing the columns of a list. And let's go to the application so that I can provide some examples. So here in the application, I can go to the customer list. So a typical list page with a number of columns. Now, if you install Microsoft Dynamics NAV, the system will show the standard columns such as the number, the name, the responsibility center, the location code, and so on. But it's perfectly possible that you would like to add columns which are not displayed, or that you would like to hide or remove columns which are currently displayed but which you might not use. So that's something that we can do by choosing the columns of a list. So if I click here on the menu on my right mouse button, I can go to the Choose Columns function. All the personalization options, however, are also available from the application menu. So if I click on the application menu and if I go to Customize, you can see all the different things that we can customize or personalize. So I can choose columns, I can choose fact boxes, customize a ribbon, and so on. You see, so all of these topics we will cover in this module. But let's start by going to Choose Columns. So here in this page, you can see the available columns that we can add and the columns that are actually shown in my customer list. So the first thing that I can do now is add a column which is not displayed. So for example, I would also like to see the country of my customers. So I can select country region code. I can click on add. Now you will see that this column is added as the last one. But if you would like to display it, for example, after name, you can simply use the Move Up button in order to move it up the order. And now if I position it here, you will see that if I now click on OK, I will have number, name, and country region code. So it's that easy to display an additional column in a list. Now it's also very easy to, of course, hide or remove columns from a list. So for example, suppose that I'm not using responsibility centers and I would not like to display it in my customer list. I can right click, I can choose columns, then I will select responsibility center and I will click on remove. Now it's actually not really removed because it's simply hidden now, because it's still available here in the available columns, which means that afterwards, if you would like to add the responsibility center again, you can very simply do this. And so now if I click on OK, you will see that responsibility center has been removed from my customer list. Now, another very important feature that you might know from, for example, Excel is the freeze pane feature. So what you can typically have in lists is that you want to display quite a lot of columns. But then if you start scrolling in the list, so if I click here on right, you will see, of course, that like for example, my country region code is not visible anymore. So my number and name is, because there is a freeze pane added after number and name. And in that way, by scrolling through the list, you will see that the number and the name of the customer will always be visible. And that's something which is, of course, very useful. Now, suppose I would also like to add my country code to the freeze pane columns. Let's have a look at how we can do this. So I will right-click again to go to Choose Columns. And here you can see now the freeze pane. And again, my number and name columns are frozen. But if I would like to add country region code, I will simply click here and I will click on Add Freeze Pane. So now you will see that we have number, name, and country region code. So let's have a look at how this is displayed now. There we go. And now if I start scrolling, you will of course see that also my country region code will be visible at any time. So that's something which is very useful in list pages, typically when you want to display quite a lot of columns in a list page. So what we saw is that each user can individually choose which columns to display or hide, so very easy to do this. This is available for lists, but you can also use it for documents, and typically you will use it there in the Lines Fast tab. Think of a sales order, a purchase invoice, and so on. And I've also showed you an example of the freeze pane. So we can very easily add freeze panes in order to freeze a number of columns that will be visible at any time, also when you scroll to the right, typically when you have quite a lot of columns displayed in a list.